Black Friday deals are officially here for Prebuilt PCs, and as I said, everyone that has their notifications on got these deals earlier because they were released yesterday, and as soon as they were released, I put this same list on my community page, and that's why I always say that it's important for you to click that bell button. You will have all of these deals down below in the video description, and we are going to go through different budgets, so every single budget will be covered on this video, and except for $550 and below. So if your budget is around that number, let me know in the comment section and I will help you out. That's it. Let's start. With the first deal, we have the Victus 15L for $550. This one has the Ryzen 5 5600G and the RX 5500. Now, I do recommend you upgrading the GPU. It's really easy to do. You just click on customize and buy and go with the GTX 1660 Super. It's $100 more expensive, so the price of this deal will be $650. But after the coupon code that you will have in the video description, you will have an extra 5% off, so the total price will be around $620 for a 1660 Super and a 5600G. This is a really good GPU-CPU combo for starters at 1080p. Now you get 8 gigs of RAM, 2x4, so it's dual channel, it's not going to be bad. And then you get 256 gigs of SSD, so I do recommend you upgrading those as well if your budget allows, but if it doesn't, don't worry about it. You can do this down the line pretty easily, but the 1660 Super and 5600G will achieve more than 144 FPS in competitive titles, depending on the settings of course, but it will also achieve 60 plus FPS on average in games like Red Dead Redemption 2. So if you're on a tight budget and you want a system that is going to be solid, I think that this one is the way to start. With the next one, we have the Skytech Nebula. This one is $750 and you get the Ryzen 5 3600, which is a bit old, but you get the RTX 3060. Now, just because it's the 3600, it doesn't mean that it's going to be bad. It's actually going to be an amazing CPU for 1080p gaming. And then you get the RTX 3060, which is the main component here. For $750, this is the first time that I see a 3060 on a system that actually doesn't sag overall. You get a front mesh panel, so great airflow on this system. It's also upgradable with a 600 watt 80 plus volt power supply, so in case you want to upgrade that CPU down the line, you can do it without any issues to upgrade it to something like the Ryzen 5 5600. And then you also get 500 gigs of SSD and 16 gigs of RAM. So personally here, I wouldn't upgrade anything. The only thing that I would upgrade maybe is the SSD, if you feel like 500 gigs is not enough for your type of games. It can also do some 1440p gaming, but this PC is mostly for 1080p. Anyway, down in the website you can see their average FPS in high settings for both 1080p and 1440p gaming. So the fact that you can run games at 1440p at 100 plus FPS, it's insane at this price point. And if you have a 1080p monitor, you will achieve more than 60 FPS on average, basically in every single game, even in Cyberpunk 2077, which we all know it's a high demanding title. So for $750, you are getting a great system with not only great components but also good airflow. With the next one, we have another Victus 15L, and this one I believe is better than the last one, the Skytech Nebula, because you get the i7 12700, which is much better than the Ryzen 5 3600. And then you get 16 gigs of RAM, 500 gigs of SSD, but you also get an extra terabyte of hard drive. So here you do not need to upgrade anything, especially not that CPU. The i7 12700, it's a great CPU for both gaming and content creation. So if you want a PC for under $1,000 that can do content creation, gaming, streaming, basically it can do it all, then I recommend you this Victus 15L, which is $980, but after the coupon code it's going to be around $930. So yeah, I believe this is a big jump from the last PC in terms of performance. This is really similar to the Victus 15L that I've tested, so I will leave that review in the top right of the screen with benchmarks as well, for you to see how a PC like this is going to perform. With the next one, we have one from Amazon actually, but it's from Skytech. This one is the Kronos PC with the i5 12600K and the RTX 3070, and the price is $1,200. Once again, this is a price that I've never seen before on the market, $1,200 for a 3070 and the i5 12600K. I believe this is an amazing deal that I would actually buy. If you have 100 extra bucks, then I recommend you waiting for the next one because it's a much better deal than this one. But this one is still a really good deal in case you can't spend above 1200 bucks for 1440p gaming. There's literally no game that you can't run on this system at 1440p, and you can even play at 4K for some titles. So keep that in mind. This is a great overall system with also 1TB of SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply, and a front mesh panel with RGB as well if you like RGB. With the next one, it's a Chronos as well, but like I said before, this is a much better deal just for $100 of difference. You get the i7 12700K, that's a jump on the CPU from the i5 12600 to the i7 12700K. Then you get a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler, so this CPU will be much better cooled than the last one. You also get a 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply instead of the 650 watt, meaning that it's more upgradable. And then you also get the RTX 3070 Ti instead of the 3070, which the difference is not going to be as huge, but considering that you get an upgrade on the CPU, GPU, CPU cooler and power supply for $100, this is an insane deal to me, and I highly recommend you this one instead of the last one for two main reasons. The first one being that you're buying directly from the company, so you have much better customer support. And the second reason being that if down the line you decide to upgrade the CPU or the GPU, only one upgrade is going to cost you more than $100. So for that reason, I would buy this one instead of the last one. But if you can't go any farther than $1,200, then don't worry about it. Both are going to give you a great gaming performance. And down below on the website, once again, you get the benchmarks for different titles on high quality settings, and you're getting 140 FPS on average for Call of Duty Warzone on high settings. That is insane for the price. So yeah, I highly recommend this PC overall. For $1,500 we have the Prism 2, and I know that I mentioned Skytech a lot, but that's because I think that they have the best deals available on this type of budgets. You get the AMD RX 6900 XT and the Ryzen 7 5800X alongside 32 gigs of RAM and a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler. So in terms of airflow and cooling, this is the best one so far that I mentioned. And the crazy part on this system is that it's really similarly priced to a PC build, which is often not the case. So for $1,500 you're getting a 4K gaming system. You can see the FPS once again on this website. You can't see the 4K FPS, which is unfortunate because this PC is for 4K gaming or 1440p super high refresh rates. You also get a 1000 watt 80 plus volt power supply, so it gives you room for upgradability in case you want to upgrade, let's say, the CPU to the i5 13600K or 13700K. You can do this without having to swap the power supply. With the next one, we have the Omen 45L. This one is $2,250. After the coupon code, it's going to be $2,050. And this one has the i7 12700, which is better than the Ryzen 7 5800X, and the RTX 3080, which is slightly worse in terms of performance than the 6900 XT. But we are talking about just a 6% slower, and the reason I recommend this one instead of the last one is because I've tested this PC myself. You can see the full review. I will leave it in the top right of the screen with the Victus 15L review, so I can guarantee you that this PC is great for 4K and 1440p gaming. And yes, maybe you get a slightly worse performance than the last one, but you get a better CPU and a better encoder for content creation, streaming. You also get DLSS technology, and it's going to be better for ray tracing. Now I will recommend you two more PCs. These are not on a discount, so they are going to be a bonus, and I do recommend you these PCs if you want the best of the best. If you have a budget of around $3,000, I recommend you the Skytech Eclipse. This one has the i5 13600K and the RTX 4080 alongside 1TB of Gen 4 SSD, 32 gigs of RAM at DDR5, a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler. There is nothing that you can't do with this system, and literally I think that this is the limit for gaming. I wouldn't spend more money than this for a gaming system, and I wouldn't go any farther than the RTX 4080, but because I know some people want the best of the best, I recommend you the other Eclipse, This one is $4,000 and you get the i9 13900K and you get the RTX 4090 instead of the 4080. Like I said, if you're just going to do gaming, do not buy this system. The 4080 will be more than enough, and we can even argue that the 4080 is not needed for most people. But like I said before, if you want the best of the best, then I recommend you buying this Prebuilt PC. Remember, you will have affiliate links down below in the video description, and you will have coupon codes for some of these systems for you to have an extra discount. And if you got value out of this video, leave a like and subscribe, but most importantly, hit that bell button so you get notified not only when I upload this type of content, but also when I upload this type of deals. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.